Hello everybody, welcome to Colorado. I want to introduce you to our new friend, Rosie the Rivian. We call her Rosie, the Rivian R1S. This is one of the first 1,000 vehicles on the road. It's quite a vehicle. We've got it to test it out, to drive it, to own it, to live in it, to try it out in all kinds of different forms. We also have Rocky, the R1T, which we love as well. And so we're going to compare them all together. Lots of stuff planned. But today, I just want to do an overview of what this truck is, how it fits into our lifestyle, all the different parts. I call this bumper to bumper. Okay, just starting as a general overview, it's a 7-seater vehicle, electric powered, 135 kilowatt hour battery. So it has about 300 miles of range, somewhere between 300 and 315 for a maximum range. This particular model has 22-inch wheels and extra performance tires. The R1T we have has a different wheel setup, but I'll do all about tires in a separate video. There's a motor for each wheel, which is great for off-roading. It's great for performance. That's 4 electric motors. It's got 835 horsepower, 900 pound-feet of torque, which for those uninitiated, basically that means it can really haul. It's really great. It's great for towing. It's great for off-road. It's great for lots of stuff. We have basically the same setup from here forward as the Rivian R1T, but from here back things are a little bit different, and we'll go into all those things. But let's start at the front. Of course, you have these beautiful lights, which are a little bit of a polarizing design, but I actually really love it. This particular shape was said to be designed around the carabiner, so you can see the key is actually similar shaped. And I kind of like that as a former climber, well, current climber, but not as often as I want to be. That's a great place for my mindset to be for this car. Of course, some of the things you notice right up front are these really rugged tow hooks, which I think is really great. They're basically designed to be rescue hooks, and this to me says this is meant to be more than just a commuter car, and it's going to go off-road. It's going to be able to do all those things pretty ruggedly, and of course the beautiful logo right here in the front. Underneath the bumper here is the button to raise up to what would be an engine in a normal car, but in this particular case it is a frunk. So this little divider folds down as well and also folds up. This particular thing, it's maybe 2 to 2.5 feet deep. It's pretty good sized. I mean, you could put a lot of stuff in here. Let me give you an example. I'll put one of my bags in here. This is just a camera bag I'm using. You can see I could probably even stand it up here. I could lay it on the side and I could put 2 or 3 others just like it. A lot of space here. And of course, up here in front is one very important thing. The one thing that you need to know about maintenance-wise, this is where you fill your windshield wiper fluid. We're done with the maintenance talk, because that's all you need to know, really. I mentioned these wheels. This is a nice big wheel. This particular setting is in its lowest setting. The Rivian has an air suspension system, and at a touch of a button in the interface inside, you can raise and lower this particular system. You can go from 8.5 inches of clearance here to almost 15 inches of clearance here, just shy of 15 inches compared to the R1T. It has a little bit better angles as far as the breakover angle here and the departure angle here. So one could argue that it's actually going to be better at off-roading than the truck is. Let's put it up in the highest setting, see what this looks like. So just by comparison, I started off here where I could put maybe 2 to 3 fingers underneath here between the tire, and it'll take a minute, but it'll go up quite a bit. You might be able to hear that motor humming. That's the air compressor filling up its compression tanks in the back here, because it used a lot of that air pressure to raise the truck up, and it's refilling itself in case it needs to do it again. Now with it in its full setting, or its full height setting, it's a lot getting into this truck. So I'm pretty tall, and I can get in and out okay, but it does take a little bit of a stretch. So I'm gonna go back down to the lowest height, which also will give me a chance to explain. There is another mode that would just, a new software update that just came out that Rivian published, and it's called Kneel mode, and it will do this automatically in certain instances. When you put the car in park, it'll go down into the lowest setting, making it quite a bit easier to get in and out of the truck, as you can see. While I'm here, let me point out a couple of things. There are several cameras around the side. There's this one, and this one. There's one in front. There's 3 more on the other side. There are a couple more in the back, including this one right over the bumper, so that you can use it for reverse. It uses all those cameras in a very clever way, and it'll stitch together what's called a bird's eye view. I'll show you that in a second. Now just a little bit more on the exterior here. We have a beautiful glass roof with 2 different glass panels and 3 different attachments, 3 different sets of attachments for a roof rack system. So you can put 2 here, or 2 here, or 2 back, or 3, and all kinds of different arrangements. Super easy attachments for these roof rack system. I love this roof rack system on the R1T. I haven't used it on this one yet, but we will. But remember, if you do have something on the top of the truck, it's going to change the aerodynamics of the vehicle a little bit, so it's going to affect the range. Not sure how much yet. That's also something we're planning to test out. This is called limestone, this particular color, which I really love. It's a great color. It mixes well with the sky and the lights, and as you can see, these beautiful autumn colors behind us. Great mix. There are lots of other colors available in the R1S and the R1T. They're the same colors for both Rivians, for both the R1S and the R1T. If you are interested in other colors, check out my video that I did all about the R1T, or all about the colors of the Rivian colors, the same colors. I'm working on another video with all of the colors of the R1S, which will be very similar, but there is a little bit of a difference. This particular top of the R1S is black, as you notice, with this chrome accent, and the R1T has the same body color on the top, so that's one distinct feature. One thing I also wanted to point out, these particular door handles, which I really do like. If you know, some of the newer cars out here have funky door handles, maybe ones you push and pull. This particular one presents itself when it's unlocked. Now I'll go ahead and lock it, and you'll see this particular thing locks and the mirrors close down. If I unlock it, the handles present themselves. And this is really user-friendly because all you do is pull them and the door opens, right? Now, it does have a disadvantage, which is if you know Rivian and and you're a thief, you know when it's unlocked, right? You can look at a distance and say, oh, that truck's unlocked, and you can just go pull it open. But the phone actually acts as a key to the vehicle, so when you walk away, your phone will know, or the vehicle will know that you've walked away, and it actually works really well. You don't have to walk away very far, and the doors will lock again. Now, one thing you notice right now is that the door handles are still open, even though I'm in the car and I'm ready to drive, but it's still in park. If I put it in drive, automatically the door handles flatten out. Now, one thing that happens in our family all the time is that I'll pull up to somewhere and I'll stop and waiting to pick someone up, and they'll be standing there like looking at me like, Dad, come on. And I'll think, oh, that's right, I need to actually put it in park. When I put it in park is when the door handles come back out again. Or I can just hit the unlock button on the screen. So let's go in the front. So this leather here, this is the Black Mountain interior, one of 3 different types of interiors. It's vegan leather, so it's not actually produced from an animal. And then there's this great little accent, little wood accent, which you see on the dashboard as well. And these wonderful little pockets here. Lots of space to stuff things here, and I love how it folds out right there. And this snazzy little feature right here an extra flashlight for when you're out in the woods and you need something, or when you're at home and you've lost your light. And it just pops in and out. Super clever. Turns off when you put it in. But well-designed door, super solid. You have to actually shut it pretty tight when you close the door, because if you shut it lightly, then it doesn't latch all the way. And I've heard that has a lot to do with it needing to be watertight, because this truck can forward up to 3.5 feet, which is basically to the top of the wheels. So that's a lot. So like I said, I wanted to go through the interface very briefly right now, and then later I want to do a more in-depth video about how to use the interface. But basically, we have the two screens here. One main screen here that is most of your controls, and this is just a screen that reports to you. This is not a touchable screen, but it shows you, your speed, and it shows you vehicle information, like which are there cars around you, pedestrians, and so on. And it shows you different things on the left here, like efficiency and your mapping route, which is really handy. It also shows you the driving mode you're in and the height of the vehicle. And that's actually really handy, because a lot of times, especially in my particular garage, I can only park it in the middle or lower settings. So if it's up in the high setting, I'll clip the top of the garage. I haven't done that yet, thank heaven. But I can just quickly look here and see what height setting the truck is in. So here you can see the two screens again. This is the large screen and the smaller screen. You can see it's really easily viewable right here as I drive. I can move the steering wheel up, down, back, and forth to change that view. We also have the two stalks on the side. This does reverse and drive, so if you push this end in, it'll park for you, and then you up for reverse and down for drive. And this also controls your driver assist modes, like the adaptive cruise control and the driver plus. On the left side, you have a lot of controls for things like the windshield wipers and the lights, and of course the signal lights here. On the steering wheel, you have a couple of basic controls here. You have these rollers that go up and down and these paddles that go left and right. And those are items that you can use to control certain things, like the volume on the stereo and different bits to the driver plus control. In the main panel here, you have your basic controls, and as I mentioned, I'm going to do a deeper dive into this particular control. But basically, this is where you go to change the different drive modes that you have. There are 5 different drive modes, plus sub-drive modes in each of them. You can look at different settings for your vehicle. You can do things like open and close the lift gate, and you can do your music, as well as the navigation here. Here in the center, you have the console, the main console. There is a charging pad here for your phone. You can open up this little bit and you can store a few things. And of course, this great feature, this little center console, since you don't have a transmission in the middle here like you do in a lot of cars, there's a lot of space here to just throw a bag, and we use this all the time. This is especially for a family, for our family in particular. We always put snacks here or bags of stuff here, and that way whoever's sitting in the passenger seat doesn't have to cram around their feet so much. And that's actually really nice. These are the Chilwich floor mats that come with the truck. I do like them. They do offer more rugged versions of the mats, so you can look for those when you purchase your vehicle and add those in. I do have those on the R1T, and I like them a lot. Notice that the dashboard does also have this little wood paneling here. In this particular version of the interior, it's the Black Mountain version, it has the dark wood colors, wood stain. It's a rough stain, you can tell, you can feel it. I'm not sure how this is going to hold up over time. I do love it, so hopefully, if we take care of it well, it'll hold up just fine. And I like these little chrome-like accents here. And of course, we have a little thing that pops out here to put a water bottle. It does fit pretty, comfortably, water bottles here. So we do love that as well. Hiding down underneath here is a great little feature. It's a Bluetooth speaker that you can use for whatever thrills you, camping and so on. And it locks when the vehicle is locked. There's one other thing I wanted to point out, just the controls here. Lots of controls, a lot of range here for moving the seat up and back. So here we have the second row. Remember, I put this seat in maybe like 6 out of 10 inches back or so. The second row, this seat is all the way in the forward position right now. I scooted it forward. You notice that it's impossible to sit here. If this seat were scooted forward, you could, but for right now, no. But this seat, this second row seat, does slide back quite a ways. And even with the seat here, sitting where I would sit in the driver position, it's a pretty comfortable place. Now I'm going to lean this back a little bit because instantly I felt I was too upright. So I'm going to lean it back. And here in this spot, pretty comfortable. So this seat is also scooted all the way back, but leaned forward in its natural position. So you probably want to lean that forward or lean that back a little bit. So plenty of room. Notice that these seats are heated seats, and you control the heat and the air conditioning from this panel right here. The seats in the front are also heated, but they're also cooled seats. So that just means they're airflow seats, and that's actually really nice. And of course, in this second row, you have this beautiful glass roof. It is something you don't really notice when you're sitting in the front seat just because of the way your field of vision normally works, but back here, it's beautiful. And no, it doesn't really greenhouse very much, this vehicle. It's tinted very well. Also, you have these little lights here, which, by the way, brilliant. You just touch them to turn them on and off. I think that's super clever. Really, those little details like that in this design are one of the things that makes this vehicle really sing to me. Now, if you were going to get into the third row, you would pop this little button right here, and it pops forward. Now, one thing to note is that it might be tempting, or even you might say natural, for a person who's getting in this vehicle and has never done it before to grab this right here. And it'll work, but it doesn't slide forward. This button is essentially the reclining button or the button to get the seat to fold flat. Now notice that it hit right here. That's because this passenger seat is not folded forward all the way, or not scooted forward all the way. So that's something to note. So basically the way you want to get in and out of here is by pushing this button. This releases here and slides the seat forward, and then you can climb in and out of the third row. So here I am in the third row. Now notice I had to turn my feet to get this, but that's also because this seat in the front is slid back all the way. Now if I slide the seat forward, which I can do if I reach around, if the seat is slid all the way forward, I got loads of room here, but remember that slid so far forward that you wouldn't be able to sit there unless the driver's seat was quite a ways forward. But with 3 people here, it's definitely doable. And even as an adult, as a 6-foot adult, I can sit back here and be very comfortable for a little while. And I also have this great little sunroof of my own back here, and a fun little light. And I also have my own little storage compartment with a USB-C cable here and a cup holder. There is a dim here too. It's not all the way bright. It doesn't go it's not just one off and on setting. It actually has a dim setting, which is really nice. So you get in and out of here by hitting this same button. It pops the seat forward and puts it loose. You could push it just a tiny bit. Now here's something that with kids especially I've noticed. If I step out of here, it's kind of tough to get my second foot out. So I have to put my hands here and hop out, or you could step down with your lead foot. But that's something to be wary of. Like if you want to warn people to come out carefully, because it could be easy to fall forward out of that. So moving on to the back, of course you have this lift gate. It's automatic. You can control it from inside as well. And then here's this really great design, which is this tailgate that folds down. And I love this tailgate. It's really nice. It's totally fine to sit on. And the other thing that I love about this particular tailgate, it's great for a person like me who likes to pack for trips. I can cram things in here and not have to close the lift gate, and I can still get a lot in here before I close the lift gate. It's a really nice feature. Right here behind the tailgate is this little space. Only a couple of days old and this vehicle's already a little dirty. Underneath this space, this particular fold-out bit, and here you have your first aid kit and your air cable. Now, you might wonder what this is. Well, it goes with the air compressor nozzle right here. You can connect that on. You can put the air pressure here and you can fill up your tires. you can fill up the spare tire, which is down here as well. And this spare tire is saving space by not having air in it. So if you ever got a flat, you will have to air that up. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to be doing a video about just that particular thing. I've already got that scheduled, so look for that coming up soon. Also back here you have your outlet, 12 volt and 120 volt. And here is the switch to release the seats in the second row seats. Let's go ahead and fold the seats down. To do that, you fold this here and push that down. You can do it all in one motion. And then that folds out pretty flat. Now there is this little shelf here. Rivian made a little smart little design decision and made it so you can lift that up. That's really handy, especially for sliding boxes in and so on. It won't get caught on that little lip, which is really great design. Now to fold down the second seats, you would hit here, but notice it's not folding down, and that's because that particular seat is scooted forward and the driver's seat is back quite a bit. Let me fix that. So I've reset the front seats so that they're a little bit forward, and you can see here I can now drop those seats down. So you have a good 7 or 8 feet of space here. Once again, check my measurement video to see all the differences, but there's plenty of space here to stretch out. You could sleep here. Sleep a couple of adults there would be just fine, with some padding, of course. One thing that it does have, and I'll insert a little piece of video here, but it does have some really great little lights here for when you're in the dark and you open up this lift gate, it lights up this whole area. Really great feature. So to put the seats back up, I like to start with the third row here because it's easiest to reach it from here. So you push it back there and lock that back. Now this does not recline, so that's one position. Okay. I'll do the second one. Unlatch, fold back, and fold up. Hey guys, how are you? We have a few people stopping by to look, which is a very common occurrence when you have a new vehicle like this. Okay, Alan and Dora came to check out the R1S. Can 2 adults actually lay in the back of this vehicle? It looks like it's totally doable. And I can even close your, how you say you're 5'10"? 5'9". 5'9", so plenty of room with the tailgate closed.
And you can see the stars. Yeah, and you can see the stars.
Okay, thanks guys. And to put the seats back up, there's the servo here. You can release this seat. Notice, by the way, there's this middle console that you can release and put down. So this is a split here. And this great little feature here, this little thing pops out. So put this up. Oh, and then there's a cup holder here in the middle. And then I have to reach all the way over to get the servo on this side and put that up. There you go. So talking about the back bumper from our front to back here, of course we have the windshield wiper here on the back. This glass does not open separately. It's part of the lift gate. But you also have down here this hidden panel. It's closed up for aerodynamics, but you release it here, and here's where the tow hitch is. The tow hitch is under here. This vehicle can tow more than 7,000 pounds. So that's pretty impressive. So there you have the bumper to bumper of the Rivian R1S, which is a great companion to the Rivian R1T in the back over there. We have lots of videos planned here. Please leave your comments below and let us know what are some specific things that you're looking for. We're planning to do deep dives. We're planning to do comparisons. We're going to go specific into things like the infotainment system and the way it drives and the suspension system, tires, and so on. But it's been really great to get to know this vehicle. Stay tuned for more in the very near future. Thank you so much for watching. If you're in Denver, hit me up. Let's go for a ride. See you in the next one.